Hello.
Hello, we're live.
We are live.
Welcome to week 6 of 6
No.
of our Arbiversity course. So this one is managing and growing your business. In previous weeks, we've talked to you about all of the basics to do with online arbitrage and selling on Amazon. We've talked you through, we've given you sourcing advice. We've talked about analyzing deals, making sure they're going to work out well for you.
Yeah.
We talked about shipping and preparing your items. We talked about repricing. And basically this week, we're just going to talk about other bits and pieces, as I say, to help you manage and grow your business. Well, and basically to send you off out there into the big OA world.
Graduation into the big wide world.
Yeah.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Emma.
I should say that
just
if you are watching, just pop us a note in the comments, say hello, let us know who you are and where you're watching from. Click on the link to give permission for us to see your names as well, because it's always nice to see your names rather than anonymous hello, so we can say hello to you back. Yeah, I can't believe we're on the last week.
Let's see.
I suppose we can just get started.
Yeah, let's get started. So let's move to the first bit. So I'm going to remove Kaylee now. Right, so I'm going to talk to you about the sourcing calendar and also sourcing events as well. So planning when you're going to look for certain products and when you're actually going to go ahead and purchase them, and just sort of planning ahead as well. So it's all linked together. So the sourcing calendar is basically this. So the business year is split up into 4 sections. So you've got Q1, 2, 3, and 4. Q stands for quarter. And so there I've got the months that are in each quarter. So Q1, January, February, March. Q2, April, May, and June. Q3, July, August, September. And Q4, October, November, and December. So obviously Q4 is the one that we are in right now. It's the busiest time of the year, and where you're likely to make a lot more money. It's where businesses do pretty well. It's where you as a seller will likely do a little bit better as well. Well, I say a little bit, maybe a lot. But yeah, that's how the business year is split up. And here are some of the events that occur in those different quarters. So in Q1, you've got things like New Year's, Valentine's. If you're in the US, you've got Super Bowl. In Q2, you've got Easter, things like Father's Day. You've got Amazon Prime Day. Q3, obviously, you've got all of summer. So things for just summer in general, things for summer holidays specifically. And if you're in the UK, I don't know if it works out the same in the US. If anyone does happen to join and you're from the US, let me know. But here in the UK, kids will go back to school around September time, I think. It's been ages since I've been at school. But yeah, that's how it is in the UK. I don't know if it's the same in the US. Maybe it is. And in Q4, you've got Halloween, you've got Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and you have Christmas. So lots of different, obviously there's more events than what I've listed there. Those are just some prime examples. And Kaylee's going to now talk to you a little bit about preparing for those events.
Yes, so we're going to talk about planning ahead. So obviously Matt has just listed the kind of months of the year and when those events occur. But I think what's important in terms of managing and planning for your business in that you need to be thinking ahead. So, I mean, we always use Q4 and Christmas as the example, but just because Christmas is in December, obviously you'll be thinking a lot about it in December, but you want to be thinking about it months before, or even for something as big as Christmas, thinking about it the year before. So think about, as a customer yourself, in terms of finding deals and buying products, when can you take advantage of things like clearances and sales? You can be buying relevant items kind of in the current quarter for the next one, as that first bullet point says. You take advantage of sales, like I said, that occur at the end of events, ready for the next time. So an example that I always kind of use or give is things like outdoor things for summer or garden things. So when those go into sale at the end of a season, can you take advantage of those sales and those clearance sections to buy that stock, but you're going to then hold on to that stock for when is a good time to sell it, maybe the next year, so beginning of the next summer maybe. I know you have to take into account things like storage and things like that, but it's always something to be worth, taking advantage of. As we said, Q4 is when businesses and sellers usually make the most money. Preparing for that is super, super important. Some people start right at the beginning of the year. The majority will start maybe Q2. So you're kind of half a year ahead almost. Think about things like Boxing Day, New Year's sales, getting the biggest range of products for a discount, and you can set yourself up ready to go. Here in the UK, quite literally, as soon as Halloween ended, that stuff was on the clearance rack. So definitely think about kind of taking advantage of what's to come. Back to you, Matt.
So that's the sourcing calendar and also sourcing events as well. Now, when you get underway with your Amazon account, something to be wary of is Amazon suspensions. No one likes to hear that word, but suspensions is a way of Amazon policing their platform. You are on there, you're using their platform to sell your items. They're going to have rules and things that you have to abide by. Unfortunately, there are sellers out there who will try and abuse the rules, exploit loopholes, and this is solely for their benefit, which can result in a very uneven playing field between them and other sellers. Not to mention, it can lead to negative shenanigans for customers, causing upset and distress, and they may never shop on Amazon/online again, which is bad for Amazon. It's bad for you. No one wants that. So hence, that's why there are rules. Obviously, Amazon don't want that, and they want the platform to be a great and vibrant place for everyone. Unfortunately, though, with the suspensions, there are occasions when Amazon have been known to shoot first and ask questions later, which is part of that sort of like general fear of the suspensions, and why whenever it's mentioned, everything sort of like goes silent. Maybe it's something like a seller was unaware of a specific rule and crossed it by accident, or maybe the seller made an honest mistake and things like that. Amazon will only suspend an account, though, if it is for a reason. Again, it can be where you've made like an honest mistake or you've missed something by accident, and that's might be why it feels like a shoot first, ask questions later kind of deal. But they don't sit there and go, right, whose account can we suspend today? It's always for a reason. But the good news is if you keep up to date with the rules, you make sure you know what's going on and you abide by them, then basically you have nothing to worry about. Kaylee now has got a list of sort of like common suspension reasons, which she's going to go through with you now.
Yep, so then I'm going to talk about a bit about kind of common reasons that people might get suspended from Amazon. So first off, we've got, as the bullet point says, counterfeit stock. So this is things like fake branded products, maybe like pirate copies of DVDs, basically things that go against Amazon policy for what you're allowed to sell. But also sometimes Amazon will have a suspicion about where your stock is coming from. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you are selling counterfeit stock. I'll touch a little bit on kind of how if you're not, you can kind of safeguard yourself almost. But moving on to the next one, we've then got selling banned items. So this is quite tough to do anyway, but it's well worth taking a look on Amazon. There is a list of banned items, so items that you're not allowed to sell. You might, a lot of them are common sense, but it's definitely worth checking out just to make sure that you don't kind of cross any boundaries or get yourself into trouble unnecessarily. Then you've got things like product safety complaints. Used items sold as new. So this is potentially when, you could get a customer complaint because they don't think that the product is new. And obviously, if you are actually selling used items as new, then that is against policy. And similarly, not as advertised, things like selling expired items. So expiry dates on things is really important. And then we've got IP claims. And I'd say this is probably one of the most common ones. So you've got things like if the rights owner for that brand makes an IP claim against you. The IP radar on BuyBotPro can really, really help you in this because it is linked to Get Unsuspended, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide. But it basically means that Get Unsuspended will have access and get information about a lot of the brands that are making IP claims, and then that gets fed into the IP radar and BuyBotPro, so it can really help you out when you are analysing deals. The IP radar can help you whether there's any known issues with that brand. And then things like order defect rates and late shipment rates as well. So general kind of things that might affect your account health, but could affect your actual, your account being active or not if those kind of percentages aren't being adhered to. So if we move on to the next one, what to do if you get suspended. So no one wants to receive that email saying, your account has been deactivated or temporarily deactivated. Worth mentioning that deactivated and suspended are those are kind of used interchangeably. So we often call it a suspension. Amazon might call it a deactivation in their email. So what should you do? Before you contact Amazon, read that email, because a lot of the time you need to kind of pull out what Amazon think you've done wrong and what they want you to do. Then seek some help or advice. There are rare occasions when an innocent seller will come under fire. Things like you've missed a change in Amazon policy, as Matt said. If you're following the rules and you're able to back it up, like I said, let's go back to, what was that previous one? Counterfeit stock. Make sure you keep your invoices. You need a paper trail for your business. So if you can prove that your products aren't counterfeit, then you stand a really good chance of getting your account back. Get Unsuspended. So Get Unsuspended is here for you. If you head to getunsuspended.com. Oh, sorry, my dog started barking again. It was barking earlier and I'm like, shh, I'll just talk loudly. So head to getunsuspended.com. We have a team that are really, really experienced in helping people get their accounts back. So before you do anything, I can't stress enough how important it is to read that email, forward it to help@getunsuspended.com. Oh, Beck's replying. Oh, I know. He's cute, but yeah. And yeah, so sorry, I'm getting lost in what I'm saying now. So they can help you. They are there on the other end. They've probably seen that email before. They probably know how you need to react to it, or what you need to do, what information you need to gather. There's also suspension safeguard as well, which you can get added onto your BuyBotPro subscription. It's a monthly payment and it basically covers you. If you have any issues that crop up with your account 30 days after you've signed up, then the Get Unsuspended team will be there to help you, deal with the issue, give you advice, let you know what you need to do. So definitely check out suspension safeguard. Head to getunsuspended.com. And I'm going to pass back to Matt before my dog starts again.
There we go. So sourcing calendar and events, Amazon suspension. So this is all stuff that you'll need to take into account as you get rolling with your online arbitrage / Amazon business. And as you roll a little bit further down the path, then you might be considering hiring a virtual assistant. So you might hear that term expressed as just VA. It's a simpler way of saying it. So this is basically someone that you're going to hire to source and analyze deals for you. So it saves you a load of time. It means you can focus on other areas of your business, and you got someone doing that. You got someone doing that work for you. So the reason why I say you might want to do this a little bit further down the line is obviously you'll have grown your business, you'll have made a lot more money. So therefore, you can then, well, if you want to, you can then afford to hire a virtual assistant, and you can hire a couple. You can hire just one. It's completely up to you. You can have a team of VAs. So when you hire a VA, it's the same as anything else. So it's the same as all of the jobs. So you have to go through an interview process with them, because you need to make sure that you find the right fit for your business. You don't just want to hire anyone who says that they're a VA. You want to make sure that they have the skills. You want to make sure that they know what they're doing. Check their experience. It depends, again, what you're looking for. Maybe you want someone that has got bundles of experience. Maybe they've been a virtual assistant for X amount of years, or maybe they are fairly new to it. So in which case, you need to be prepared to give them the sort of like guidance, if you will, or like training and things like that, to get them to the point where you want them to be, and find out if they're going to be reliable. It always helps as well if they have a banging personality. That's another one, because then, it just makes the whole working with them thing a whole lot more pleasant even. Sorry. when you are working with them, it's important to provide feedback, but in a way that is constructive. So if they are doing the job and there's just bits and pieces that, don't sit quite right with you, obviously, depending what that is, but, talk to them. They're a human too. They all they're doing is what they sort of like know to do. So maybe they don't know they're doing something wrong. So just sit there and explain what it is that you want them to change, or maybe you want them to do something new, and add a little bit more to their job role. So that is all about hiring a virtual assistant. I do have a video for you now because so that's hiring. We're now going to talk about managing your virtual assistant, and there is a way within BuyBotPro, and that's one software that we've been mentioning over the last couple of weeks. There is a feature in there that can help you manage your virtual assistant. If you don't have BuyBotPro or anything like that, it's worth watching this video anyway, as it might give you ideas of different bits and pieces that you might want to look at when it comes to monitoring your virtual assistant. So I'm just going to play that video for you now, and I'll see you in a little bit. It's super useful to have a virtual assistant as part of your business for tasks like sourcing and analyzing deals, which is going to save you a lot more time. A way to help maximize your virtual assistant's efficiency is if you can get them involved in softwares for these tasks. So for example, over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about BuyBotPro, and within this software, there is a virtual assistant section / feature. Now that's what I'm going to talk you through now. If you don't have BuyBotPro, if you don't have it yet, don't worry. This might give you a couple of ideas of things that you might want to keep an eye on and check on when it comes to your virtual assistants. So we'll talk about the VA Manager section first, which is just for you as the subscription holder. So with every BuyBotPro subscription, you get 5 license keys, meaning you can have the software on up to 5 devices / used by up to 5 users at any one time. So let's click on VA Manager Login. This bit is just for you as the subscription holder, so your virtual assistants won't have access to this area. When you do enter this for the first time, you'll be asked to enter an email and password, and you will want to set the password to be something different and something that only you'll know, as again, only you will want access to this. So the first thing you get when you come through to this section is a summary page. So you can see the total amount of deals submitted and by who, the total amount of work time each of your virtual assistants have worked. You can see the latest deals that have been submitted, the latest screenshots that have been taken. I will explain each one of these in a bit more detail as we go along. So this is just a summary page letting you know what's going on overall. And then you can view the time logs for your virtual assistant. So if you come here, you'll be given a list of all of your virtual assistants and the different start and finish times that they have been working, the amount of deals they've submitted in that time, and the amount of screenshots that have been taken. The screenshots I'll talk about a little bit later on. And you can see the duration that they worked. You can also filter your virtual assistant as well. So if you do want to check a specific virtual assistant's time logs, then you can. But overall, this gives you scope of your VA's work time, and you can also make sure that they are starting on time and also finishing on time as well. Next up, you have the deals page. So you can see in full all of the deals that your virtual assistants have submitted to you all in one place. So you'll be able to see the title for the item, the ASIN, the buy price and the sell price, the confidence score, the date and time that it was submitted. And then what you can do from here, you can either check out the item for yourself on Amazon, so it's a link to that product page, or you can export that to your linked Google Sheet, which you'll have set up in BuyBotPro. So you can very quickly send that to a spreadsheet. So assuming that you've set the correct criteria for your virtual assistants and it does meet that and you do trust that, you can just work your way through each one and send all of that information over to a spreadsheet. So this is the screenshot section, which is super cool. So basically you and your virtual assistant will download an additional extension, and whilst they are working and using BuyBotPro, they won't know that it's happening. There'll be no indication, but the system will take screenshots of what they are doing whilst they are working and send them to you here. So that way you can make sure that your virtual assistants are on task and they're doing what you're paying them to do. So again, that is super cool. You can also set up your virtual assistants here. So you can add a new virtual assistant, set them up, enter in their email. You can see the total amount of time that they've worked, the total amount of deals that they've submitted, the total amount of screenshots that have been taken, and the last time that they submitted a deal. And clicking on any of these as well will take you into further detailed logs on whatever it is that you've selected. From here, you'll also be able to manage the devices that are linked to your BuyBotPro subscription. So you can name them. You've got the device IDs there and the activation dates. So if you have anyone that you don't want to be using your subscription anymore, you can delete them off of it. And then you've got your BuyBotPro settings. So here you have the VA requirements. Now this is the criteria that you can set for your virtual assistants. That way they know what to work with. So you can set them a certain BSR percentage that you want the item to meet. So you want it to be within the top 5% here. You can set them a certain ROI and profit that you want the deal to meet as well. And you can set them a confidence score. So once you've set all that up, save that, and then this is what's going to happen from your virtual assistant's point of view. So what they'll do is every time they come into BuyBotPro, they'll come to this VA toolbox section. They'll log in using the email that you've set for them / their email. So let's enter in that one, hit save, and then they'll be met with this. So the start button will turn green, and when they start work, they'll click on that. The screenshots will start happening, and they'll find deals, they'll analyze them. So let's analyze this one here. And then once they found a deal that meets the criteria, which has populated here, so that's the criteria we set a short while ago in the VA manager section, they would then submit that deal. And when they have finished for the day, they will then click on finish. So that is a really cool feature within BuyBotPro, and you'll be able to work closely with your virtual assistants and make sure that they are on task and see all of the deals they've submitted nice and easy. Plus you've got that criteria there that they're going to be able to work with as well, so they know exactly what the deal needs to meet. All in all, it's just a super handy feature to have. And again, if you don't have BuyBotPro, then maybe some of this has given you ideas of what you might want to monitor regarding your virtual assistant. So check when they start, when they finish. See how many deals they submit within that time and things like that. So hopefully that helps. With that being said, back.
Really good video there. It always amazes me that that's included in the BuyBotPro subscription. But as you said as well, I think just really good things to think about, whether you're going to use BuyBotPro and use the virtual assistant, manage a bit of it, or you know, what you should have in your head when you're thinking about getting a VA.
Yeah, I mean, it's handy because you need to know what your virtual assistant is actually doing. You need to know that they are, you know, actually doing the work, and so that's just a really in-depth way of doing it. Like, you've got everything there that you need. Again, if you don't have BuyBotPro, maybe it's an idea to, if you have a Google sheet or something set up where they submit their deals, just make sure that you share the link to that sheet with them, and then they can edit things and add things into that as well. So that's a way to do it if you don't have BuyBotPro. But yeah, if you do get it, then obviously
it's a big step, isn't it? It's a big step thinking, you know, you're going to spend some of your money on hiring someone. It's a great thing because obviously your business is, you know, doing well enough that you need an extra pair of hands, or more than an extra pair of hands. But I guess it can be a little bit overwhelming. So it's a really good kind of prompt of what to think about, like you said, when recruiting, but also then when you're managing them and making sure that at the end of the day, they are doing what you're paying them to do. But you need to work out what you want them to do in order for them to be able to do that.
Definitely. So, yeah, so this little slide here is the cycle of online arbitrage, if you will.
Circle of life.
When I was making this, I was doing it. I was thinking circle of life. So I was like, oh yeah, circle of the way. But then the points I had to make, and then the way that the arrows were working in the Google Slides, I couldn't quite do a nice circle.
It's like a triangle.
So then I tried to go for a triangle, and I was thinking, will people look at that and go, yeah, that's a triangle? So I just thought I'd call it the cycle of OA. And you know, if you see a shape there, I mean, maybe that looks like a triangle to you, you can call it the triangle of OA if you want. Yeah, it starts with sourcing items. And then this is where we're also going to bring into play some of the softwares that we've been mentioning over the last couple of weeks, so you can see how they actually all work together. So you've got sourcing items, or you can use the deal leads from Online Arbitrage Deals. So the service where they basically send you deals Monday through to Friday. So two different ways of basically finding items that you're going to buy and then sell on Amazon. And then the next bit is analyzing those deals, so making sure that they're going to work out for you. And this is something that you can do with BuyBotPro, as we've been explaining in the last couple of weeks. So making sure that they are performing well BSR wise, making sure you're going to make a good profit off of them, that they've got no IP issues, so that way you don't get suspended or anything like that. So there's lots of different things to look at there. So you've got the sourcing, then the analyzing, then obviously you've got the actual selling of the item to do. So setting up sensible minimum and maximum prices for your items, setting strategies as well. And again, this is something you can do in the software that we mentioned last week, Profit Protector Pro. You can do all of that in there. Obviously, somewhere in between analyzing and setting up Minimax is obviously preparing your items and shipping them off. Anyway, maybe I could have included that in there, made an actual circle.
It might have been a square then. You
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, some shape. At least I can name a shape there. And then when it's a continuous circuit. It will keep going. So you'll keep sourcing, you'll keep analyzing, you'll keep setting those Minimax prices and selling your items, and it will just keep going for as long as you're doing online arbitrage for.
And hopefully that little pot that you can put into your next lot of items will get gradually bigger and bigger, and then your amount of items will get bigger and bigger. And then that's where I guess kind of the virtual assistant side of it that we've talked about today will come into play probably a little bit more, because I think when you're first starting, it's a bit like, oh no, I don't need that. But I think it's worthwhile, knowing that it's a thing and learning about it now, because, you don't know how soon you might need something like that.
Exactly. And I mean, as you grow your business, so we've said it a couple of times, but there'll be so many other things that you need to keep track of and do, particularly during Q4. It's such a busy time of the year. I mean, even in like Q3 or whenever it is that you start preparing, it just gets busier and busier.
Yeah.
And Q4 is the busiest time. So if one day you can have a couple of virtual assistants just to take some of the weight off of your shoulders, why not?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I get that choice is completely up to you. Do we have anything else?
Kind of.
So
we've reached the end.
I mean, that is the end. That is week 6 of 6. But as I put there, the end, or is it just the beginning? So this is basically where we release you out into the online arbitrage Amazon world. If you haven't done it already, maybe you already started back in week 1, because we've set goals each week at the end of these, just things that you can do as you're working along these webinars. And if you've been doing that from the start, then you'll be well on your way, or like near enough. But maybe you've been watching them all and then you're going to start now. So it's the beginning of your journey. It's like watching kids grow up.
Definitely keep us posted and let us know how you're getting on. If you missed any weeks, then you can go back, obviously, and refresh your memory or watch if you missed one. It's been really, really interesting, kind of starting from the beginning and going to the end. I've really enjoyed it, and we'd love to hear about your journey and how you get on when, as Matt says, you get released into the wild.
Yeah.
Not too wild though. There is always the group to pop your questions into if you get stuck on anything, or you want any advice, whether it's from us or from anyone else in the group. There's so many people in that group that will be really valuable resources, especially if you're just starting out. So definitely make use of the group.
Yeah. So these webinars will be here forever. And then as Kaylee was saying, like, you can rewatch them on YouTube. So if you just look up Arbiversity, the video should pop up when you search them that way. There is a playlist on there somewhere where all 6 of these sessions will be, so you can rewatch the lives again over and over and over and over as many times as you like.
You know them off by heart.
And hopefully this has helped you. We'd love to know if this has helped you, or like maybe had a couple of questions about something, if it answered some of those questions, and like you were getting started anyway, but you just needed a bit of like confirmation or something. We'd love to know what this has done for you. So yeah, we'd love to hear feedback. So let us know in the comments on here or on YouTube, or or put a post in the Arbiversity group. We'd love to know, and love to know how you're getting on.
And also anything that you think maybe we haven't covered that you've still got kind of, at the back of your mind as a beginner, or if you're just getting started, what you would have liked us to cover, if there's maybe a topic that we haven't covered, or just let us know, because it's always good to know. So if we do them in future, we can make sure that we've 100% covered all bases.
Exactly.
I think it's goodbye.
Yeah, so I don't think we've got any comments or questions or anything like that. So let's wrap up our 6th and final week.
See you later.
See you, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Bye.